Huge question in sim racing, which is the best GT3 simulator for 2025? So I'm going to run through the main sims here in my opinion and let you know my thoughts if you want to be spending time driving GT3s in 2025. So much option, it's the most competitive category in sim racing and competition is good. That means these sims are competing against each other. We're going to start with the granddaddy. The kind of default I would say is iRacing. So iRacing GT3s is so well supported in the system. So many GT3 races. I also do GT3 leagues as well on the side. And iRacing is very serious about adding GT3s. So they're adding all the latest GT3s and they add them properly. So like when the Ford Mustang GT3, for example, was added to iRacing, it was added in a bit more, the cars seemed to be more specific and better than the one in ACC. We did some comparisons side by side to compare. And it's not quite as simplistic as that, but iRacing did a pretty good job, for example, of the Mustang GT3. What you've got to bear in mind in iRacing is you need to pay for a subscription, you need to pay for all of the tracks, and you need to pay for all of the cars, less some of the free content. So some tracks are free, like Alton Park is free, Okayama is free, Laguna Seca is free, the Mazda MX-5 is free. I don't think any GT3s are free. There are some legacy GT3s, but if you want to have like the IMSA roster or some cars that now make up the WC roster, you're going to be spending quite a lot of money. It's about $12 for a car, 14, $15 for a track. By the way, if you do sign to iRacing, I do have an affiliate link in the description. If you've done all your research, it gives me some credit that I use to buy the cars. But with that said and done, you do get a very good GT3 experience in iRacing. The tyre model is contentious. However, for me, I've always enjoyed the tyre model in iRacing, weirdly. I like the sensation that you have mid-corner. I like the sensation you have when the grip is going and you can kind of feel that traction loss. And I really like the sensation of slip angle. I feel very comfortable trying to exploit slip angle in iRacing, especially as like the tyres warm up, the cars kind of get lighter with fuel use, and you kind of go into a stint in a GT3. It's really nice to manipulate the GT3 through the corner. So GT3s in iRacing, I say, is a good standard. ACC is, for a lot of people, the GT3 king simulator. Like a big focus on GT3s. They have other GTs in there now as well. GT2s, I think some GT4s as well. But basically GT3s, officially licensed for a lot of them as well. And like I said, when iRacing launched the Ford Mustang GT3, ACC also added it. And it might have been free in ACC as well. Sometimes ACC will add free content like that. But also ACC has DLC packs. So you buy a bundle of cars and tracks. And often it works out quite a bit cheaper than iRacing. And you don't need a subscription either, although there's not as good an integrated league daily racing system in ACC than iRacing. You often need to use like third-party softwares like SimGrid and SimRacing.gp and stuff like that. ACC has a very different tyre model for GT3s. For me, it kind of can feel a bit treacly, and then when the tyres overheat, you have a lot of lateral sliding. Like you feel the cars really laterally slide, which can be very frustrating. It makes it more rewarding to keep the tyres in their temperature. You get a lot more live tyre information in ACC than you get in iRacing, and there's a lot of stuff to do with tyre pressures and setups, and kind of doing funny things with the setups to get the tyre pressures in their optimal window. Now, for a lot of people, that's just too much hassle. I tend not to worry about that in iRacing, whereas in ACC, if you want to be competitive, you kind of really need to be paying attention to tyre pressures. In reality, tyres are so important in racing. It is your contact with the tarmac, so kind of fair enough that ACC places so much importance on that. But just bear in mind, if you're going for a GT3 simulator, if you do it in ACC, you're also going to need to become a tyre expert, but you are going to have, like iRacing, the latest roster on pretty incredible tracks. Let's go a little bit left field now. So Le Mans Ultimate is now a GT3 simulator. Interestingly, I did a video a while back comparing iRacing with ACC on GT3s, and I got a comment saying, oh, Le Mans Ultimate is the best GT3 simulator. That was when Le Mans Ultimate had no GT3s, so it's quite a funny comment. But now, Le Mans Ultimate has added 4 GT3s. So if I remember, you've got the BMW, Ferrari 296, Corvette, and the McLaren. The McLaren's free. The other 3 you need to pay for as part of a season pack, which is cheaper than iRacing buying them individually, but it's controversial because Le Mans Ultimate is in early access, so you're paying for DLC in an early access game. However, I've been spending time with the GT3s in Le Mans Ultimate, and I've been having a lot of fun. I actually prefer it over ACC. Versus iRacing, I'm not sure yet, but for me, the tyre model in the GT3s, I actually prefer it over a lot of the hypercars. I've tried a lot of the hypercars in Le Mans Ultimate since the game came out, and they handle very differently. And there's been a lot of times that I've just really struggled to control them. Whereas the GT3s feel a lot more satisfying. And even at a circuit like Monza, where you're kind of like trying to turn into an apex, expecting to slide a little bit and slide around the sausage curbs, you can actually do that in Le Mans Ultimate. It's got a very kind of like consistent feeling through the tyres. So Le Mans Ultimate is really a sleeper GT3 sim. And what it has advantage over iRacing is it's fully licensed from the get-go. So you're going to be seeing the right drivers' names, the right team liveries and everything in the sim off the bat. You don't get that in iRacing. You kind of get funny liveries. You'd have to run something like trading paints. It's not off the bat licensed like you get in Le Mans Ultimate. So Le Mans Ultimate, a sleeper hit right now. If that game ever gets announced as going into full release, I will do a very comprehensive review of Le Mans Ultimate when they're charging full price. At the moment, it's in early access. I've made a lot of videos on it. Definitely worth checking out, I think, if you're looking for a new GT3 sim. Next, we're going to go to Gran Turismo. So I'm going to quickly talk about Gran Turismo. Obviously, only on PlayStation. It does have GT3s in there, but a lot of them are very old. However, I would say the GT3 racing in Gran Turismo 7 in daily races, when it's a Group 3 race, is absolutely electric. It has some of the best GT3 battling you will get. You can go side by side, 3 wide, 4 wide, little bit of contact, and you're all going to be okay. You can't do that in iRacing. So it's a very different experience driving GT3s in Gran Turismo than in iRacing, which is why I wanted to mention it and give it an honourable mention. So if you've got a PlayStation 5 or even a PlayStation 4, and if it's on sale, definitely think about picking up GT7. The next game has just gone into early access today as I make this video, which is Rensport. Now, how Rensport is still in early access, I don't know, because it feels like it's been in early access forever. I don't understand how they're releasing this game. But GT3s in Rensport are like Gran Turismo 7, but on PC. Like, it's uncannily similar. It's almost like they've designed the experience to be like Gran Turismo 7. So again, you can go 2-3 wide through multiple corners, kind of swapping paint, and it's not going to be catastrophic like it is in iRacing, Le Mans Ultimate, or ACC. So you have a very intense GT3 battling kind of vibe in Rensport. Now again, I don't understand the business model. They were trying to sell NFTs and then they're not, and now they're called evens, but no one really knows what they are. Very confusing business model, but worth mentioning that it exists in the GT3 space, and the GT3 racing is actually very good. Now, something I want to mention, but I'm not going to talk too much about, is AMS2. Because AMS2, Automobilista 2, has an IMSA license. So it should have the IMSA GT3 pack. Now, I don't know that yet because I haven't tried those in Automobilista 2, but I just wanted to mention it, and I wanted to kind of include it here so you can add in the comments your thoughts on AMS2. Now, if there's anything else I've missed out here that should be included, stuff like race room, stuff like if people are still doing Project Cars 2, or anything else that you think is still relevant, let me know in the comments. Which is your favourite GT3 simulator? But these are just some thoughts of mine off the bat. I wanted to get the discussion going. GT3s is such a fun competitive class to race in, where you can race with some of the biggest brands, some of your favourite brands in motorsport, and a lot of competition these days. Personally, I'm racing in all of the ones that I said I was playing. iRacing, ACC, Le Mans Ultimate, GT7 and Rensport. So I'm having a lot of fun in all of those games. Let me know what you're doing, and I'll see you next time.